In a darkened courtroom, the air thick with tension, a man stood accused of treason, a crime punishable by death. Nelson Mandela, the face of a revolution, whispered to his fellow prisoners, "I am prepared to die for my cause." But what could drive a man to such profound dedication? Few knew then that this moment was merely the byproduct of decades of struggle, sacrifice, and an unyielding belief in justice. This is the compelling story of Nelson Mandela, a journey paved with the blood of martyrs and the hope of a nation. /N/N born on July 18, 1918, in the small village of Mvezo, South Africa, Mandela's early years were marked by the traditions of the Thembu tribe. His father, a chief, instilled in him a sense of pride and purpose, a foundation that would later fuel his passion for justice. But tragedy struck when Mandela was just 9 years old. His father died, and he was taken to live with a guardian. It was during these formative years that he experienced firsthand the oppressive grip of colonialism. /N/N as a young man, Mandela attended the University of Fort Hare, an elite institution for Black South Africans. It was here that he began to understand the deep injustices ingrained in his society. Joining the African National Congress, ANC, in 1943 marked the dawn of his political awakening. But it was not an easy path. As anti-apartheid tensions escalated, Mandela and his compatriots faced relentless state oppression. /N/in the 1960s, Mandela's commitment to the cause intensified. He co-founded the ANC's military wing, Umkhonto we Sizwe, adopting a stance of sabotage against the apartheid regime. But as these actions grew more radical, so too did the backlash. In 1964, during the Rivonia trial, Mandela delivered a speech that would resonate across the globe. "I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities." Sentenced to life in prison, he was now the unwilling symbol of a revolution. /N/N's imprisonment on Robben Island became synonymous with the struggle against apartheid. For 27 long years, Mandela endured harsh conditions, yet his spirit remained unbroken. Behind those prison walls, he became an emblem of hope for millions, a beacon of resistance against tyranny. But nobody knew the depths of his resolve. What happened next shocked the world. Even while imprisoned, Mandela managed to orchestrate strategies and keep the movement alive, influencing the course of history even from behind bars. /N/as the global outcry against apartheid grew louder, the regime began to falter. In 1990, after years of international pressure, Mandela was finally released. His return to society was nothing short of miraculous, a hero returning to a nation on the brink of civil war. As he walked out of Victor Verster prison, he raised his fist in solidarity, signaling the beginning of a new era. But the path to peace was fraught with challenges. Negotiating the end of apartheid required unprecedented courage and diplomacy. /N/in 1994, Mandela's tireless efforts culminated in a historic event, South Africa's first multiracial elections. His victory was more than a personal triumph. It was the dawning of hope for a fractured nation. As he took the oath of office, Mandela encapsulated the spirit of reconciliation that was vital for healing a country scarred by decades of hate. /N/in Mandela's time as president might have seemed like the peak of his achievements, yet his legacy extends far beyond his presidency. The principles he championed, freedom, equality, and social justice, became a global rallying cry. His life story became a narrative of resilience, inspiring generations to fight against injustice, not just in South Africa, but around the world. /N/in today, his legacy resonates as we confront issues of inequality and oppression in our own societies. Why does Mandela matter today? Because his journey teaches us that change requires sacrifice, empathy, and undying hope. In an age when divisions threaten to fragment humanity, Mandela's teachings remind us that the fight for justice is ongoing. The battles may change, but the spirit lives on. /N/, as we reflect on the life of Nelson Mandela, we are reminded that even in the darkest of times, one individual's commitment to justice can light the way for the many. His story is a testament to the power of resilience and the indomitable human spirit. In a world where challenges remain, we must ask ourselves, are we ready to embody his legacy as champions of equality? /in/as we conclude this poignant narrative. Let us remember that the true essence of Mandela's life lies not only in the recorded triumphs, but in the enduring belief that every fight against injustice is worth undertaking, that every voice in the struggle against oppression matters. His life invites us to dream of a world united in peace and equality. The fight then was monumental, but the battle for a just future continues. It is up to each of us to carry that torch forward. As we delve deeper into the tapestry of Nelson Mandela's life, we find not just the illustrious moments, but the intricate details that reveal the man behind the legend. To understand Mandela's legacy fully, we must revisit his early influences, the shaping of his beliefs, and the pivotal moments that forged a revolutionary leader within him. Mandela's commitment to education was a defining aspect of his character. He once said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." Throughout his life, he saw education as the pathway to freedom, an opportunity that had been systematically denied to his people. After gaining his bachelor's degree, he pursued further studies, eventually earning an LLB. Despite the oppressive systems in place, he remained steadfast in his pursuit of knowledge. He knew that understanding the law would be critical for challenging injustices head-on. But education was not simply about personal advancement for Mandela. It was a means of empowerment for his community. He often organized study groups and discussions, fostering a spirit of inquiry and critical thought among his peers. This nurturing environment would lay the groundwork for multidimensional leaders in the anti-apartheid movement. Little did he know then that these seeds of learning would grow into a force powerful enough to dismantle the very system that sought to keep them in bondage. Soon after his marriage to Evelyn Toko Mays, the daughter of a local chief, Mandela began his political journey in earnest. His first groundbreaking engagement with the ANC came during its formation as a response to the oppressive policies instituted by the National Party. Alongside prominent leaders like Walter Sisulu and Oliver Tambo, he recognized that passive resistance would not suffice. It was time for direct action against the apartheid regime. The 1948 elections marked a turning point when the National Party's policies of racial segregation clenched their icy grip tighter on the nation. With every unjust law implemented, Mandela's resolve solidified. 1944 was also significant as it marked the founding of the ANC Youth League, which became a breeding ground for revolutionary thoughts and actions. Mandela's initial opposition to apartheid was integrated into a broader agenda that recognized the necessity of radical change. As South Africa sank deeper into racial turmoil, the peaceful protests organized by the ANC turned into a zealous call for resistance. During this time, Mandela's personality began to emerge as a key figure. His charisma, belief in equality, and unwavering determination ignited passion in many who felt voiceless. But the struggle was fraught with peril. Mandela often veered into the crosshairs of apartheid's repressive apparatus. The turning point came in March 1960, known as the Sharpeville Massacre. South African police opened fire on peaceful demonstrators protesting against past laws, indiscriminately killing 69 and injuring hundreds. Those who survived, with their wounds and trauma, bore witness to the horrifying nature of apartheid. It shook the conscience of the nation and the world alike, but also radicalized many within the ANC, including Mandela. Determined to escalate the fight, Mandela stepped into leadership roles that demanded strategic insurgency. The ANC's previous approach, marked by civil disobedience, needed supplementation by military resistance. Thus, he co-founded Umkhonto we Sizwe, which meant Spear of the Nation. In his pursuit of equality, he stood firm on the idea that a government that refuses to abide by the will of the people must be challenged vigorously. Mandela's decision to take up arms was not taken lightly. He wrestled with the moral implications. However, as apartheid grew increasingly violent, he knew that peaceful protests alone would be met with bloodshed and brutality. Though at the time, few would comprehend the gravity of his actions,